Most players focus on aim and mechanics, but if your movement sucks in CS2, you're missing a massive key to winning rounds. Today, I'm breaking down the top 10 tips that will fix your movement and completely change how you play. I'm Louis, and in this video, we'll cover everything from mastering Counter Strafing and AD peeking to bunny hopping for faster rotations. You'll learn when to walk silently, why crouching can save your life, and how perfect jumping techniques keep you unpredictable. We'll dive into training on KZ and aim maps, how to practice movement in deathmatch, and the pro tips you can steal by watching demos. Timestamps are below so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip that you like. So the first thing you need to understand is how to counter strafe. Now you can see that I have my velocity right below my webcam. You're going to see that if I strafe to the left, it takes a while for my velocity to decrease where I can actually be accurate with my gun. So in order for me to counter this, I just have to counter strafe. So if I'm holding the A key, as soon as I let go of the A key, I have to immediately tap the D key, and you'll notice how my speed goes instant. And when I strafe to the right, I just want to tap my A key as well. And you can see how fast the velocity actually goes down on a really good counter strafe. Now, what a lot of people do make the mistake of when they're counter strafing is they almost do this little drift. So instead of just tapping their counter strafe key, they actually hold the opposite one down for too long. And you can see by the velocity, if I do this with a little glide instead of just tapping the key, my velocity still doesn't slow down far enough. So when you are practicing or learning how to counter strafe, you simply just want to make sure that you're letting go of that key and then tapping the opposite key instant, and your velocity will instantly snap to 0, just like you see it on my screen. Now, also a little tip when it comes to counter strafing, a lot of people think that your accuracy is going to be 100% when you're not moving. Now, while this is true, but if you guys think about when you're holding down crouch, I can sit here and just shoot down range and have really good accuracy while I'm still moving. And you're going to see that my velocity when I am crouching like this and moving is 73.10. Now, what this means is that when you guys are learning to counter strafe, you don't have to immediately wait for this velocity to be 0. As soon as you start pressing your counter strafe key, you're able to have 100% accuracy because you're slowing down fast enough to get around that 73 and below range that you will be accurate. So a lot of people think that when you're trying to clear angles, you have to wait till you're totally done moving, but that isn't the case, especially inside of CS2. So the next time when you are trying to clear angles, don't wait until you're perfectly stopped or you can just get opped by somebody. If you want to get the illusion that you are running and shooting, you want to start shooting as soon as you're pressing that strafe key, so you have that really good accuracy and that fast counter strafing time. Now, if you notice that you peek a lot and instantly die because you feel like you're too slow, there's actually a little trick that we can do to make your velocity as fast as possible when you are peeking an angle. Now, in order to do this trick, it's very easy, but it is kind of habit forming. So when you do start to do this, you want to make sure that you're practicing it a lot. And what you want to do is simply just spam your A and D keys like this, your left and right movement keys, and then swing out. Because if I was sitting right here behind this door, you can see that I am about 180 velocity when I'm peeking this angle. But if I say you're an 80 peak, you can see that I was 200 velocity when I'm swinging, and I even travel faster when I'm trying to counter strafe, which means anyone playing on this side of the door is going to see me very quickly if I do abuse that mechanic. Now, another way that you can do this, if maybe you're not too fast with your fingers because you're very inexperienced with women, something that you can do is just strafe to the left or the opposite and then strafe out, because this creates just a longer strafe where essentially you're starting about right here. But a lot of people do like to sit on walls when they're about to entry. So if you just do a little strafe in the opposite direction, then swing, you can see that I'm hitting about 215 when I'm peeking this angle, which is the fastest velocity that you can run in the game with a weapon out. So abusing these tricks can be very helpful, even like over here towards ramp. Maybe you're in a 1v1 situation and you want to peek this guy, but you want to make sure that you're not slow. If I'm trying to peek here, I'm getting about 190 if he is holding me cat. But if I do the little AD trick and then swing, I'm 200 now trying to peek this guy, and I have the advantage in this fight just because of the peeker's advantage, and I'm essentially just winding up my peak just so I can hit this guy with a really fast wide swing. Now, before I get into the next tip, let me tell you about SkinsMonkey. Is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. The favorite thing about SkinsMonkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade, and if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you, SkinsMonkey, for sponsoring this video. Now, if you think that your counter strafing is good, something that you're going to be missing inside of your own game is making certain skill jumps. Like a good example is if you are a cat, a connector, or a window player on Mirage, if you're not able to make the cat jump or jumping into ladder room by jumping on the window to the bricks and then into ladder, you are just holding yourself back because these are going to give you timings and really good upper hands in duels. So if you are someone that is good with movement and you don't know how to do skill jumps, you're just holding yourself back. Another example of a good skill jump you could use too that might seem very easy but a lot of players can't do is literally just jumping on top of default to get into palace to take a timing on anyone trying to lurk into palace, because getting this map control is very good, and if you already have good mechanics mechanical aim and counter strafing, you should be able to win this duel just by making this jump. And it's the same thing over here towards B as well, or if you're able to just jump on this van ledge to get onto Balk, you can simply just run up here, hit a nice counter strafe, kill anyone in underpass, and then just simply run away, making the round a 5v4. So if you don't know how to do these jumps, even like the one on Ancient where you're jumping onto Cat, you guys want to make sure you guys go and practice those, because that's going to give you more opportunities to actually use your mechanics in game. Now, something that you guys should be doing is abusing crouch, and I don't mean by just swinging out and holding, committing down to crouch. You guys want to use it to make yourself a harder target to hit, and also to control your recoil a lot easier. Because if you swing out Cat like this and someone's also swinging, chances are this T that's swinging isn't going to be moving his crosshair. He's going to be aiming at head level and then just simply hit an easy kill, because he's going to have that nice peeker's advantage onto you. But in order to be a harder target for this guy swinging mid, is that when you're sitting here just ADing like this, as soon as you see him, you just start shooting and tap crouch, and this is going to make you a very hard target, because when he's swinging, he's going to see you, and as soon as you start crouching, he's already shooting up here. He's going to have to pull down extra hard, which gives you at least less than half a second to be able to adjust to kill him if he did swing past your crosshair. Is that you can see that when I hold down mouse 1 with an A1S, my bullets go directly up, and I don't really have many bullets sitting around my crosshair. But if you tap crouch as soon as you start shooting, you're going to see how these bullets are more lined up where a head level or a neck level would be in a player. So simply just tapping crouch isn't going to make you a harder target to hit. It's also going to help you control recoil, so you don't really have to pull down as much, and you can focus more on your movement and crosshair placement. Now, if you want to know how to practice counter strafing, there's a few drills that are very simple that you can do inside of your favorite workshop map. I'm choosing the GG Predict training hub to use because this is one of my favorite maps to just kind of shoot bots in. And if you guys want to just practice your counter strafing, it's as easy as putting your crosshair on a bot, strafing, and then just counter strafing and killing. And you can just do this at your own pace, as slow as you want, where you're simply just aiming at a bot and just hitting your counter strafe keys. Now, this is also going to help you practice your crosshair placement, but you're more focused on your movement rather than really aiming at the bot. So even if you counter strafe and then maybe you're off a little bit, but you notice your bullet does go right down the middle of your crosshair, that means that you are counter strafing correctly, and you are doing the drill correctly, because obviously your counter strafes are hitting. Now, once you get more advanced with this, something that you can do is just start to strafe around like this, where you're just hitting your counter strafe key and pretty much shooting at the same time, because we're aiming for that 73 velocity mark. So as soon as I'm tapping my counter strafe key, I'm already shooting and I'm just strafing back and forth. This is going to help you with quickness inside a game, because a lot of people are just sitting here just hitting AD holding angles, which is something you guys should be doing. It's also going to get you in the habit of just tapping as well. If you do have a tapping aim style, this is something that will definitely help you and get more comfortable with those shorter strafes or those longer strafes where you kind of get caught in those awkward positions in your fights. Now, if you are someone that doesn't really like to tap, you can also incorporate bursting or spraying in this as well, where you're just looking on a target, you counter strafe and burst, and then just switch off. Now, when you are doing this, what you want to really focus on is making sure that you're having a wide enough strafe so you can practice your counter strafing, because if you're just sitting here going like this, just doing these little movements, it's very hard to focus on your movement altogether. So you want to make sure that you are hitting those big strafes when you are flicking to another target. And then once you practice this a lot, this will really help your counter strafing, and it will elevate your movement, and you can even incorporate this in your training or especially your warm-up routine. Now, one of the best ways to practice movement is pre-fire maps, because pre-fire maps are going to build a habit into your brain where you should be stopping to actually shoot. Now, a lot of people say that crosshair placement is muscle memory because you're recognizing where common positions are on the map, and you can see that all these bots are in very common positions where CTs might play. But if you can memorize where these CTs are playing, not only will you have good crosshair placement on anyone playing somewhere like close ramp, but you will also have muscle memory of counter strafing in these positions as well. So when you are trying to clear out ramp, maybe in a late round, you think they took it, you can simply just clear angles with the muscle memory that you know someone might be playing in these positions. Like someone over here on stairs, a lot of people love to hold this with an op or even a deagle. Now, if I had good crosshair placement, I could probably just swing out and then have my crosshair on his head. But if I have bad counter strafing or not even muscle memory of this angle, chances are he's going to kill me, because I'm not going to stop where I need to be stopping. So if I can remember these common positions, I can peek these angles with confidence and be able to just one-tap people, because I'm already in the process of counter strafing when I'm clearing out these common positions. So not only do you want to think of crosshair placement when you're playing pre-fire maps, but really focus on your movement where you know people might be playing. So then when you're entering out onto site, you can simply just one-tap opponents like this, because you're in the habit of stopping where you know a player might be, instead of just thinking, oh, I need to put my crosshair here because I think he's here. You need to be ready to stop and imagine that the player is playing in these positions. So then when you are forced to come out here and clear out site and clear out all these opponents, not only do you know that they are here, you're also already in the habit of stopping while you're also subconsciously aiming with your crosshair.